to rotate. It was on portrait instead of landscape. Okay, I think let me adjust this a little bit. All right, so I'm down here on the other side of the garden. Right behind me is a rhubarb patch. Okay, and I've got my laptop down here because I have trouble seeing the text on the phone. So, oops. Let me log onto my laptop real quick. Sorry, I'm a little late. Oops. How's your day, everyone? Okay, I'm just refreshing the page. All right, so Indiana Backyard Gardener is here. Hello. Joe Blogs, hi. Alexa, is it Alexa from Chehalis? Oh, Chehalis, local. Jordan, hello. Sorry, I'm looking down because I have to look down on my laptop here, but I'm here, so I'm just kind of going up back and forth, all right? Okay, so who else is here? Mossyman 789. Oops. From Los Angeles. All right, and hello from Seattle, Tom. Okay, my computer's kind of slow, so okay, I see Tom there. So I was going to go over some crops that we can plant or sow in July. So maybe I'll wait just a few minutes. Now, since the weather is still kind of fluctuating, it might be cooler in some areas. I'm in zone 8B, so it's been cooler. Most of you guys know that we had a heat wave, but we're down to around the mid 50s at night and 70s, not even 80, but it's tapering down a little bit. Hi, Jordan Hansen and Indiana Backyard Gardener. Hello, good to see you, everyone. But some of these crops that I listed, some of them are cool crops, which you can sow this month, and you might have to wait till later in the month or even sometime in August, September, depending on where you live. So if you live in a warmer climate, then you might have to wait to sow them when it gets closer to fall time. But I do have a few crops here that I listed earlier. I think I have 18. So it just really depends on what you like to grow. So make sure you are planting what you like to eat. Don't just plant something because it grows well during the season, right? So you want to grow something that you will eat and enjoy. So Tutalazas, hello from Chicago. Hi, thanks for joining the chat. Jordan said, lettuce, please lettuce. Okay, now it's time. Okay, now it's the time for us in zone 5 to start fall seeds indoors. Zone 5, oh yes. So your first day of frost is a lot sooner than ours. So it's probably already starting to get cool, right? Over there in zone 5. So yeah, so it just depends on where you guys live. So between zones 3 to 8, you can start your cool crops now. And some of us might be able to sow them directly outdoors if it's cool already, but if it's still warm, then it's a good idea to start them indoors where it's more favorable, and then you can transplant them out around 6 weeks to 8 weeks before your first frost date. So that will give your transplants time to establish before the ground freezes. All right, so Indiana Backyard Gardener says we have a little less than 100 days left. Oh wow, before your frost date. Ours falls in late October, sometimes almost November. It kind of changes within a 2-week duration. So we have till September, August. So we have at least another 3 more months. So that's about around, a little bit, maybe a little bit over than 3 months. But August is our transplanting time for fall. Yes, okay, got it. We transplant until almost mid-September here. And sometimes I even sow seeds in September because we have a milder climate than you do. Since you are in zone 5, it gets pretty cold there in the winter, right? With a really low temperature. You're probably around -20 in the lowest temperature in the winter time, negative 25 maybe. Let's see. So Jordan Hansen said, I just sowed some corn and cabbage. So Jordan, I just sowed early glow corn, which is a fast maturing variety. I'm really late this year, guys, because the squirrels keep digging up our seeds. They dug up all the pea seeds. I had to sow them 3 times, the squash seeds and corn even. So I started last week again. I sowed another I sowed more corn because they keep digging up the seeds and the seedlings. And so crossing my fingers that they leave them alone. So the raspberry shrubs or canes are keeping them fed. So we have extra raspberries in there. So there's plenty to go around for the wild animals. And so they've left our corn patch and the squash patch. They left it alone for now. So hopefully it stays that way so they can at least have time to establish, and hopefully we'll get some squash, pumpkins, and corn this year. All right, the squirrel war, yes, oh my gosh. Let's see, so Alexa, I started peas and corn inside because of the animals. Yes, I'm totally with you. I totally understand. Last year we started a corn patch, squash, and beans, and they dug up every single seedling and seeds. So I had to sow twice, and even then they just kept digging them up. So I just had to stop, and we'll try again this year. And unfortunately I got a late start, but at least I sowed some early maturing corn. So that should mature within about 65 days, so under 70 days, I'm hoping. Plus, you know what? The days are getting shorter, so we don't have as much light. We're kind of tapering that way. So when you're sowing or planting some crops this time of the year, you want to allow enough time for them to mature. Actually, it's still July, so but still, it's still starting to get short. The days are. So you want to get them sowed as soon as possible and give them enough time to mature before fall time. So Jordan Hansen, put in the trays and then transplant them. That's a good idea, I guess. Yes. So I have been succession planting beans, squash, and cucumber. Awesome. I was going to go over that. You're on my mind. I have those in the list. So yeah, so Indiana Backyard Gardener said that she's been succession planting beans, cucumber, and squash. So especially summer squash and beans, especially bush beans, they'll mature by, I think, almost 55 to 60 days, and then summer squash between 45 and 60 days, and cucumbers, they mature by 70 days, 80 days, really depending on the growing conditions. Full sun's best, they'll grow faster. But those are great to succession sow every 2 weeks or so, so that way you can get a continuous harvest, just like Indiana Backyard Gardener said. So last year the vine borers took out all of my squash. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, last year was bad for us too. We did get a few summer squash, but when we had all those wildfires, we didn't have daylight for, I think, almost 10 days, and a lot of our crops started to die and got powdery mildew. So maybe it went on for almost 2 weeks. So yeah, lack of light, and a lot of the plants started getting, fungus, diseases. Yes, so yeah, I remember. Yes, that was crazy. Let's see here. Oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to go over the list now. I'm sorry. I got, sidetracked from the chat. So I'm going to go back in the chat. But let me read my list of crops to sow in July. So again, remember, if you live in a warmer climate, you might want to wait to sow some of these cool weather crops. Some of these are actually warm crops, but some are ones that thrive best in the cool weather. So you probably want to wait till end of July, sometime in August, even closer to September, depending on where you are. So for leafy greens, I have 4 here listed that you can sow this month. So I've got chard, which matures in about 60 days. Kale, we love kale, 55 to 75 days maturity. Those are maturity days. So I'm gonna read the name of the vegetable, and I'll read the number of days, average number of days to maturity. Lettuce, I prefer to sow leaf lettuce this time of the year because most of them are more heat tolerant, although there are some heat tolerant heading varieties such as Paris Cost romaine lettuce, but the leaf lettuce, they mature quicker as well, between 45 to 60 days. The ones that we like are black seeded Simpson, Marvel of Four Seasons. Oh gosh, which else? There's a little gem lettuce. Actually, that's like a miniature romaine. So it's a small heading variety, but that one's heat tolerant, so you can plant that in the summer. But also remember, when you're sowing your seeds, you want to keep the soil moist to aid in germination. And if you have to, you might consider putting a shade cloth to keep the soil cool. And one more thing with lettuce is you don't need to cover them that much at all. They benefit from being exposed to light because the light helps break the dormancy of the seeds. So I've heard from a few people from I think from Instagram and maybe TikTok that they haven't had success with sowing lettuce seeds because they were burying them too deep. So I don't actually bury them. I just sprinkle them and press them into the soil and water them in lightly and keep the soil moist, and they germinate really well. So you don't have to cover the lettuce seeds all that much. I think most seed packets will state 1/8 of an inch. So okay, so that's lettuce. Now spinach, it is another cool weather crop, so 45 days to maturity. And then for bush beans, I think I mentioned that earlier. Indiana Backyard Gardener talked about bush and pole beans, but the bush beans, they generally mature faster, so about 60 days. Some pole beans may take about 80 days depending on variety. And fall peas, if you want to sow some fall peas sometime this month, they mature in about 70 days. And also I've got listed here summer squash and cucumber, so which is what Indiana Backyard Gardener listed. Oh my goodness, organic pests. Oh, it disappeared. I'm not looking at my chat right now. I'm reading over the crops that we can sow in July. So Martine from Organic Pest Urban Gardener. Oh, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for staying steadfast in this teaching. Thank you. And likewise, so if you have not seen any of Organic Pest Urban Gardener, please check out his channel. He has a lot of information, very informative, educational. I've learned a lot from him, so make sure you check out his channel, okay guys? Thank you so much for the super chat, appreciate that. Okay, so I think I was at the summer squash and cucumber. So summer squash, zucchini, yellow squash, patty pan squash, those mature in about 45 to 60 days. And you're always welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So summer squash. Okay, and then cucumber, they mature between 50 to 70 days depending on variety. So remember to plant them in full sun. If they're planted in part shade, they're not going to grow as fast. So especially with the warm crops. So if you want to get a harvest before fall time, you want to make sure you plant them in full sun, and that's at least 6 hours or more, and more is always better. All right, so now I'm down to the root crops. So with root crops, it's kind of just depends again on the weather. So some of these will do better when it's cooler. So I've got carrots here. You can wait till later in July. Matures in about 70 to 80 days. Beets, 60 days. Again, watch for a weather pattern. If it's too warm, wait till end of July. And radish, I usually wait till a little bit later in the month. So it depends on where you live. It might be cooler in some climates right now. So radishes mature 21 to 35 days. So depending on maturity, it's a really fast growing crop. Turnip and kohlrabi takes about 45 to 60 days. So you can wait till late July to September if you live in a warm climate. So now also cilantro and basil. So a couple of herbs that you can sow this month. Cilantro 45 to 70 days and basil 50 to 75. So cilantro is great because it's cold hardy. It will overwinter in temperate climates. It actually survived the snow here. It got down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit a few years back, and it was buried in snow, but it survived the snow. So cilantro is pretty cold hardy all the way down to about 15, maybe 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So that will overwinter. All right. What else here? So I also have a few slower maturing cool crops here that you can start indoors. So if you want to start some collards, those mature between 75 to 85 days. Cabbage, 80 days up to 180 depending on varieties, so that can overwinter. And if you live in a really cold climate, you can overwinter it under row covers, cold frame, or greenhouse. Broccoli, 80 days to 100 days depending on variety. So these slower maturing crops that I just read, the collards, cabbage, and broccoli, you can start them indoors, especially if it's still warm outside, about 10 to 12 weeks before your first frost date. And then you can plant them out about 4 to 6 weeks before your first hard frost, or first frost date. So that'll give them time to establish in the soil, in the ground, and so they'll be ready for the winter time. And also I will put the list that I have here on the description box of this video, so you can look back and in case you missed on what I just read. Okay, so I'll have all this, I'll put it in there as soon as I get off the chat. You'll be able to read off all the information I read to you. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my laptop so I can check back here with you guys. Lauren from, oops, oh, did I scroll? From PNW, Lauren Altamore, hello, thanks for joining. So if you missed that list that I went over of crops to start in July, I will list them in the description box, so that way you can go back and read through them. So Indiana Backyard Gardener said, I start my fall seed 14 weeks before first frost indoors, then plant out. Good idea, that's even better. So I like that because Indiana Backyard Gardener, because that'll give him even more time to become established. So the more time you can start your fall crops, fall and winter crops, the better. Thank you. So Tom, my corn is looking great, so now I'm getting nervous. Do you recommend any preventive spraying with BT or other organic pest control, or just wait to see if it's necessary? Oh, like a corn earworm, right? You know what? I usually don't spray anything, and if I do, I usually wait till, I mean, I guess you can do a preventative method and spray BT. That's BT is the Bacillus thuringiensis, and it's an organic. It's safe for organic gardening, and it will attack or get those larvae. So it's especially for the larvae that eats the corn earworm. So you can try that. I haven't used it in a while, and like I said, I usually try not to use anything unless I have to as a last resort. So that's really up to you if you want to do that. The other thing you can try is DE, diatomaceous earth. So that one you'd sprinkle on the soil, or even on, I'm not sure if you want to put it on the leaves because it can harm beneficials. But the DE will dehydrate the larvae, so that could be some kind of a preventative measure you can try. But both of those, the BT and DE, are both safe for organic gardening. So so if you think that you might run into that problem, if you had that problem before in the past, then maybe something to consider. So usually if there's a infestation that's never been around in our garden, and I don't usually always expect it. For instance, we never have dealt with tomato hornworms. Fortunately, we haven't had dealt with that. So, but yeah, if you want to try it to prevent it, that might be something to do, especially if you're worried. So I hope that helps, but it's really up to you what you want to do, okay? A couple more things is neem oil solution. And I know Martine from Organic Urban's Best Urban Gardener uses neem oil as well, again as a last resort. And you want to avoid spraying flowers because it can actually harm the pollinators. So, Indiana Backyard Gardener, I have only had hornworm once. Oh, awesome! That is wonderful. And always use neem. Yes, neem oil. Garlic barrier works well too. So that's another one. It's really strong though. Let's see. Go back up in the chat to see if I missed anything. So shade cloth, yes. Slugs eating the leaves of everything. Oh you. So slugs, Jordan, have you tried laying a piece of cardboard over that area so where it's moist, that they will go under the cardboard and you can collect the slugs and relocate them or feed them to the wild birds. So you can try catching the slugs that way since they thrive in dark and moist conditions. Let's see here. I think just scrolling, I saw squirrel, scrolling down to see if I missed any comments or questions. Let's see. Okay, I think we're caught up. Oh, Japanese beetle. No, I've heard from a lot of people about Japanese beetle. I haven't had to deal with them. One year we had some stink bugs, and those eat all the fruit, the stone fruits, even tomatoes, and any crops, you know, if they don't have enough food. So we had stink bugs one year, but I haven't seen them, and that was like, I think that was about 3 years ago. But I haven't had to deal with Japanese beetle. So we are just not getting those here. Oh no. So Indiana Backyard Gardener, are you using DE to dry them out or dehydrate them? So what kind of methods are you using? So if you can share that with the rest of the people watching. So Tom, you're welcome. DE is a good idea, but like you say, I think I'll wait to see, see a bit. First, you're growing corn, hopefully not too many pests. Yes, yeah. So when sorry, I almost forgot what I was gonna say. So if most of you, I think most of us take our daily walks in the garden, right? That's a good time to inspect your plants. And that's how I was able to control the cabbage moths this year. So they started munching on the perennial seedlings and the tree collards. But every morning I would just walk around and pick the larvae and scrape off the eggs and then give them to the wild birds. I just leave them on the tree stump back there. And the wild birds eat them. And I didn't use anything. I didn't use neem oil, DE, or BT at all. I just, you know, collected them, pan-picked them, or you can use sticks too, and they were gone after that. So I was able to control it, and plus we have a lot of wild birds, and they also help eat those, I mean, they help by eating those larvae. So, and also aphids. I saw a lot of aphids and some of the kale, and just on my morning walks, I would just take them off or spray them off or squish them, and I haven't had that much issue with pests. So if you can just, you know, maintaining the garden by just on your garden walks and just checking everything, just, you know, checking up on your crops daily, and you'll be able to maintain them and take care of them. And hopefully they'll do well, right? And I've been able to avoid using any natural or organic insecticides and pesticides. So, and also guys, insect pests tend to attack or go for the plants that are under stress. So if plants are underwatered and they're stressed out, which can lead to stressed plants, that will attract insect pests and maybe animal pests, because they give off a hormone that these pests can detect. And also over fertilizing, if you're applying too much nitrogen, it causes rapid leaf growth, right? And so all these insects that feed on the succulent leaves, they will detect that, especially aphids. They love to feed on the tender foliage and even tender flower buds. And if they sense that, they smell it or they're attracted to that, they'll know, and then they'll go towards those plants. That's why they like to eat a lot of seedlings, because they're newly planted, and sometimes we apply fertilizer to get them started, to give them a boost, but sometimes too much of a good thing, such as nitrogen, will attract insect pests as well. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Oh, dragonflies! Oh my gosh! You know what's crazy? There's one in front of me right now. But I don't want to scare it. It's right. I wonder if I can flip this. Not sure if you can see it though. It's kind of far away. Hold on a sec. Where's it at? Oh, it's over there. It's on the fire pit. Sorry about the mess, guys. Do you see it? It's right There. Not sure if you can see that dragonfly. But we have them all over the place. This one has yellow and blue. It's right there. I'm about maybe 8 inches away. My finger's 8 inches away. 8 inches away. So, but you know what's great about having dragonflies is they eat all these insect pests too, right? And mosquitoes. And also, when there are dragonflies around, it's a good sign of fresh water around. So if they like fresh, I mean, the water, like they lay their eggs in there and the larvae live in the water. I believe, right? And they eat the mosquito larvae as well. But yeah, so dragonflies are wonderful, beneficial insects. Let's see here. Yes, oh my gosh, I saw the red one, the black with white, or actually it's black with clear wings with the white speckles on it. And then I just saw this one here with blue and yellow. So pretty. And I've also seen a few damselflies. Here. Yes, they attract beneficial bugs and eat the bad ones. Absolutely. Yes. So I think every living thing has its role. So I know some people don't like spiders, but you know what? Oh gosh, want to tell you this, but when I had cabbage moth larvae in some of the brassicas, or the brassica, the kale, and the collards, I saw a few spiders in there eating the green cabbage worms. And so, you know, they're not as bad as some people think, because they think they're kind of scary or creepy looking, but they are also beneficials. And it's just a sign of a balance in the environment, right? So they're not bad. Like I said, every critter has its role in the ecosystem, and birds will eat the spiders too. So I know some spiders will eat beneficials, but then it kind of balances everything out. So yeah, I usually don't harm on the insects and also arthropods like roly-polies. Actually, roly-polies are really good. I actually posted something short, a short video on Instagram about roly-polies. So they're great decomposers, and they also remove toxins from the soil. So those are beneficials, but you know, sometimes too much of a good thing can also lead to infestation. So we just have to make sure that everything's balanced in the garden. I hope you grow. Hello, just tuned in. So if you're just tuning in, I read through the list of crops to sow this month, and I will post it in the description of the video so you can go back and read it. Let's see. I love to see spiders. Me too. Let's see. I saw a really cool looking one in the Backyard Gardener. It's called Hackle Mesh Weaver. It's really unique looking. It's like a reddish, well, it's black with reddish brown. So I'll post it in the community page. Let's see. Yes, spiders help to eat bugs. Absolutely, that don't fly. Let's see here. Oh, you know what else? I've seen a lot of crab spiders. They like flowers with the umbelliferae, oh gosh, that's how you say it? Or even oleums. They hide in there. Or yarrow plants, the flowers, they hide underneath there. So I've seen a few crab spiders. They usually like those kind of flowers. Let's see here. So I hope you grow. I believe earwigs have no purpose other than to skeletonize. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I've heard about a lot of people having issues with earwigs. Okay, I have had the yellow and black garden spider. Oh, those are beautiful. The orb weaver, right? Those are big too. So I hope you grow. Earwigs, do you have a lot of decaying organic matter near your plants? Because that gives a home or a habitat for earwigs to thrive in. I'm gonna move this because I think it's in the sun. It might actually overheat my phone, right? If it feels hot. Oops, that happened to me last summer. My phone died when it overheated. Okay. So I hope you grow. Let me go back to the earwig thing. So I noticed we do have a lot of earwigs in our compost pile where there are a lot of wood chips. So that's where they will thrive. If you're using any kind of mulch, keep them away from the main stem of your plants. For smaller plants, at least 3 to 4 inches away from the stem, the main stem. If you're mulching shrubs and trees, you can mulch about 6 to 12 inches away from the main trunk. That way it does not give them a home to oh yeah, so it doesn't harbor them in there. So try to keep your all those decaying matter away from your plants. My soil was actually dead and it was filled with earwigs and pill bugs, no earthworms. No plants before I started planting, just oops. So sod, okay. So they do feed on any dead matter. So you said, okay, so the sod, was it decaying or was it already decayed? Because they will actually feed on decomposing vegetation as well. So maybe there's a lot of them in there, but also you might not have enough of their predators that will eat these other arthropods. Because I believe sometimes the earwigs, they oh gosh, I think they're omnivores, so they eat both insects and organic matter. So sometimes when there's an imbalance that could happen, you can trap them. So you know what I do with the either earwigs, I haven't had an issue with earwig, but with you said roly-polies, right? Yeah, pill bugs, roly-polies, is I put a couple handfuls of hay, moist hay, and I put a pot over that. So I put a pot and cover that hay, and the next day they will actually leave I would leave a little hole for them to enter. So maybe tilt the pot a little bit, or if the pot has a hole on the bottom, most pots do, so they can enter, and they'll actually congregate in there because they like the moist, dark environment. And then you can trap them that way and collect them and then relocate them somewhere else, like to your compost pile or somewhere there's dead wood away from your garden. So maybe you can try that and try relocating them, because roly-polies are actually, and also earwigs, that actually decompose organic matter. So those would be good in your compost pile, and they'll break down all that for you quicker. So J&J Homestead Cottage, hi, welcome to the chat. Let's see here. So I hope that helps. I removed the sod and added compost. I use Sluggo plus every once in a while. Okay, let's relocate them to their fireplace. Oh no. Yeah, if you have a compost pile, the roly-polies or pill bugs, they will break down your all the organic matter in there, and you'll get compost faster. So like I said, sometimes you know, even though they're beneficial, we can have infestations. Actually, I had an infestation because I didn't remove the dead foliage from the lettuce that was bolting, and so I had a collection of them in the bottom. I just haven't had time. I've been so busy, and so they were underneath all that dead foliage. And so after I removed them, I trapped them. I haven't had any issues since then. I haven't seen maybe 1 or 2 roly-polies on the raised bed after I trapped them and removed all the decomposing organic matter, because that gives them a home to thrive in and also a food source. Let's see. So J&J Homestead Cottage, I know you just logged on. So I read through the crops to sow this month, which you can view in the description box. I will put that there after I get off the chat. Janice, hello. It's okay. So Janice, also, I think you just heard me say that. So the list of the vegetables to sow in July will be in the description box of the video. Okay, they are so yucky at night. I shine the flashlight and I see 5 to 6 in each leaf. Oh, I talk about the earwigs. Yikes. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up, everyone. So Indiana Backyard Gardener, do you have any solution for earwigs besides relocating them? I Hope You Grow said that they've had issues with earwigs, and the only thing I can think of is relocating the roly-polies and earwigs to another place other than your garden, away from all your vegetables. So somewhere there's dead wood or compost pile. Okay. Oh, move on. Okay. All right. So I think that's all the questions. So what did you guys, or what are you planning on planting this month? So I'm going to sow some heat tolerant lettuce today, and also I'm going to try and sow some more summer squash because the squirrels kept taking up the seeds, and going to attempt cucumbers again. So all those were dug up by the squirrels last month. So really bummed about that. And I've been sowing over and over. I've been sowing almost every week, and I'm running out of some of the seeds because they keep getting dug up. So I actually used was like a chicken mesh wire, and some of them made it. So I used some of that to cover it so the squirrels can't get to them. Ooh, glass gem corn. I have not grown that one in a long time. It is so beautiful. So what do you use it for? I remember we grew them, but we actually just used it as a decoration because they were so pretty, and we didn't want to eat them. And the kids didn't want to eat them because they were just so pretty. But I know you can use them as popping corn, or I think you can grind them up into corn flour. Okay, so sure. So Indiana Backer Garner said you can try slug traps or ant traps. Yes, oh, I agree. Fall gardening. Yes, less pests, and a lot of the cool crops do so much better. They don't bolt unless it gets really cold for some crops. I heard that glass gem is really starchy. Yes, starchy. Yes, it is. It's more for corn flour and or for popping corn. So, oops. So I didn't do summer garden. Oh, cicadas. Oh no. So Janice, first one on. Did I miss something? Oops. First time to grow, just decoration because I'm not growing pumpkins this year. Gotcha. I am so late with pumpkins. Oh, first fall garden. Ooh. So Janice, you can start some seedlings indoor. I'm not sure which zone are you at? But if you live in a milder zone, you can actually direct sow some of the seeds right now, depending on where you are. But if it's still too hot, you can start the cool crops indoors and transplant them out at least 6 weeks before your first frost. Hey, a single pumpkin is better than nothing. The squirrels ate all of our pumpkins last year, the small pumpkins before they even got big. So I'm hoping that our pumpkins do well. I had a late start. I just sold them about 10 days ago. So cross my fingers that we get at least one pumpkin. Chinese cabbage. Oh, yummy. That's good. Zone A. Oh, okay. So Janice, it might be already, is it cooled down for you yet? So again, make sure to look through the list in the description box of the video for cool crops, but you can grow a lot. So lettuce, spinach, radish, any of the cabbage family, kale, collards, cabbage, broccoli, but some of these you'll have to start indoors at least 12 weeks before your first frost date. So Tom, a friend gave me some seeds, so I just started a couple of cannabis plants. Figure my tomatoes are wild enough to obscure my prying eyes. Oh wow, cool. So I'm not really familiar with cannabis, but do you have to have is it a male or female plant? I'm not sure. Sorry, I haven't grown cannabis before, so but I think don't you have to have, or do they have to cross-pollinate? Leo EBR, hello from Argentina. Hola, wow, all the way in Argentina. Thanks for joining. Let's see here. I planted 1,000 head kale. Oh my gosh, Indiana, Backer Gardener. I need to show you my 1,000 head kale, but if I take my phone that way, I will lose connection. That's happened to me a few times last year. I am due for another garden tour. I think the last one was end of May. So I will work on a garden tour hopefully this weekend. But they get really big, and on their second year, because since technically it is a biennial, it got over, I think, 7 feet tall, but the leaves are humongous. And so I allowed them to self-seed last year. And so I had all these 1,000 head kale seedlings. And so a couple of them are planted now in one of the raised beds. So I'll show you how that's going or how it's doing. But has yours gotten really big? The leaves get really big. Let's see, zone 4. So Be Kind is in zone 4, and I'm starting tomatoes right now. Not sure how that. Okay, zone 4. So I think your summer starts late though. So hopefully your tomatoes do well for you. If you planted maybe cherry tomatoes or any of the earlier maturing varieties, you should be able to get some tomatoes. 7 is still plenty of time to grow. Awesome. You can do winter squash and beans and even cucumbers. Yay! Yes. Okay, me either. It's all confusing. These are supposed to be autoflowers. Oh, whatever that means. Mostly I stick to the veggies. But you know what? It's so much fun to experiment with different plants. So that'll be a good experience for you. And with time, you will be a pro at it. So, I mean, that's how we all learn, right? It's just by planting and growing plants, and our plants teaches us a lot of things. So if we're doing something wrong, the plants will show. That's just how, you know, we learn from mistakes and just from the process. Oh, awesome. Yay, Janice. Get some starts. Good. Asparagus seeds. I hope you grow. Okay. Mary Washington and Precochi, is how you say that? Something. Should I start them now and plant in the fall? You know what? Asparagus, I started mine from roots. So if you start from seeds, it's going to take, I think, up to 3 years before you can even start harvesting your asparagus spears. So that's why I started from the crowns. And I did plant the Mary Washington, I think Jersey Night, and something else I can't remember, purple passion asparagus. So the seeds, you can start them for fall, or you can even winter sow them this coming winter. And let's see, if you winter sow them, you can winter sow them between January and March, but that would be for next season. But if you start them now, then maybe it'll give it more time. You'll have more time for it to mature, but you will most likely not be harvesting until the 3rd year. So the roots or the crowns I planted were 2-year-old crowns. And so I didn't harvest any spears this year. I just allow the fern to grow, and then I will be harvesting next season. So that would be the 3rd year. But from seeds, you will most likely have to wait at least 3 years before you start harvesting, because you want the plants to establish before you start harvesting the spears. Oh, awesome. I'd like to see your 1,000 head kale. I'm not sure if you uploaded a video. I'm going to move the camera because it's in the sun again. So I'm just going to keep moving. Oh. So it doesn't get hot. There we go. Where's the sun at? Okay. So you guys see the flowers? That's the crocosmia, and there's the rhubarb. So let's see here. Zone 10A. Ooh, nice. You still have quite a ways. You have a lot of time to grow warm crops. And you can pretty much grow year round. So we actually grow year round here in Zone 8B. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Any of the cool weather crops, we just grow them under row covers. Even some of them are hardy enough that you don't have to cover them up here. So you can grow a lot in Zone 10A. Ooh, Juliet tomatoes. Those are good. The grape Juliet, right? Those are delicious. So J&J Homestead Cottage. I am 8B, starting our second spring summer crops and have started fall crops indoors. Nice. Oh, you are way ahead. So J&J Homestead Cottage already have some fall crops going in the greenhouse. Yes, I love winter sowing. I think you winter sowed this year, right? Or I think you've been doing that before, Indiana, backyard gardener. I love winter sowing. I actually winter sowed everything. All of our seedlings that I planted were all winter sown. I didn't start any indoors because we had an issue. We remember that rain that we had in January. It was record-breaking rain. Our basement flooded, and so we had a lot of mess to clean up. We had to replace the flooring, and so I didn't want to start anything down there. That's where I usually have the grow room. So instead, I just winter sowed everything this year, and I usually winter sow every year, but this time I just winter sowed everything, and some of our lettuce and cilantro, I allow them to self-sow. So they self-sow late summer or fall, and then they just sprout up in the springtime. It saves so much time. Okay, so be kind. We'll see. Okay, fall, warmer time. Okay. David Smith, I bought 3 plants at the fair and got new spears this year. Oh, nice. Awesome. Yum. Oh my gosh, I love asparagus. So good. That's great, David. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I love to winter sow too. It saves so much time, and we don't have to acclimate them or harden them off, right? We just take them out of the containers and pop them in their pots or in the garden beds. You don't have to take them in and out of the house. So that's what I love about winter sowing, is that it saves so much time, and you don't have to worry about also energy. So it saves light money. But also I learned winter sowing from the Juicing Gardener, Cheryl. She is from the Juicing Gardener. She has a YouTube channel. She also has a Facebook. So she actually, I think she was one of the first YouTubers that uploaded winter sowing videos. And so I got that idea from her a few years ago. So that's how I learned. I was inspired by her. Yes, so you must watch her YouTube videos too. That is awesome. Yes, Cheryl Mann. She's wonderful. You can crowd sow, and yes, I like doing that too. Someone asked me, I think it was on Instagram, I sowed lettuce, but it was all crowded. But I usually thin them out as they grow and eat the thinnings, and then I slowly thin them out that way, and then they are spaced out about 4 to 6 inches apart. But I usually just sow them in one mass, and then I just thin them out like that, right? Yes, Facebook group. I forgot the Facebook group's name. Is it the same name as our YouTube channel? Let's see. Yes. Oh, yes. Cilantro is such an awesome self-seeder. All right. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, it's already almost 5. Oh, it goes by so fast, you guys. I hope you grow. Oh, yeah, you know Cheryl's channel too. She moved from Ohio to California. Yes, she did. Yes, I love her channel. Cheryl is an awesome. She's wonderful. I think I've been following her since I started YouTube nearly 10 years ago. She was one of the first accounts I started following. So she has really great videos, and she's inspired a lot of people. So now she's in California, that's right. So it's a lot warmer there. But I think she still winter sows in California, from what I can remember. Oh, I hope you grow. You inspired me to grow rhubarb. My rhubarb is so big now. It's 3 feet tall. Oh my gosh. That's big for a new rhubarb plant. That's awesome. Good job. You can probably see the rhubarb in the background there. Those are some newer foliage. So that's the summer leaves. So the leaves in the summer get really big, much bigger than the spring ones. So it's gonna be fun. But we don't eat the leaves. Remember that. Just the stalks. Remember, the leaves are not good for you. They have oxalic acid, which can make you very sick. So don't eat the leaves. Oh goodness, I missed a lot on the chat here. I'm still all the way in the top here. Let's see. Blessed too. Hi. So I've been on for almost an hour, guys. So if you just hopped on again, I mentioned that the list of vegetables to sow this month are going to be in the description. Let's see. Hope that your garden was okay. Oh, the heat wave. Oh my gosh, be kind. Yes. You know what's crazy? We reached 106 degrees Fahrenheit. And the heat tolerant lettuce, I didn't even put a shade cloth and they made it. They started bolting, but the leaves still tasted okay. They weren't bitter yet. So despite of all that, you know, the heat, they did well. And the plants are, you know what, they're pretty resilient. Even the kale plants, even though they're cool weather crops, they tolerated the heat. Chard. So plants are pretty resilient, and you know, sometimes they can adapt, but they did really well for the amount of heat that we got within that week. So I did water deeply. So you always want to water deeply, especially when it's hot, but in general, you don't want to just water the surface. Watering deeply will encourage the roots to grow deeper and then reach for the moisture into the lower parts of the soil. So the deeper the roots go, then the less likely they will suffer drought, because there's water on the bottom, deeper into the deeper layers of the soil, and so you don't have to water as often. And also mulch. So especially in the summertime, mulching will help conserve moisture. Marie's Life Canada, hello. Oh, I was about to log off. I've been on for almost an hour, but thank you for joining the chat. Let me go back here. Let's see. Oh, Victoria rhubarb. Yes. Such a great variety. Mossiman 789. Cool, great job. Green Thumber. Oh, maganda. Oh, thank you. Salamat. Salamat means thank you in Tagalog. In the Philippines. Okay, mine did backflips as I'm in the mountains. Oops. Chard is a great, oh yes, chard is good. Yes, chard is cold hardy and heat tolerant. I think chard, I've read that they can withstand all the way down to 15 degrees in the winter time. I usually put a row cover, and that helps too, so it doesn't burn or freeze the foliage. Let's see. Thank you, Be Kind. I hope you grow. Thank you. Yes, I missed this chat. It's been a while, so I'm trying to get back on it. So right now I'm shooting for Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So I will be back again next Friday, unless we have something going on, because it is summer. So we do a lot of family stuff. But other than that, I'll be back on Friday live stream 4 p.m. If it changes, I will let you know. I will post something in the community page. And I think I told someone that I was going to post a picture of that spider in my community page. I think that might be you, Indiana Backyard Gardener. So I'll post this neat spider that we saw last week. Oh, the Swiss say Americans need to plant more chard. We do. It's like they also call it perpetual spinach, right? Because it's resistant to bolting. You can pretty much grow it year round. I think you can actually, we grow it all year, and then it bolts or flowers and goes to seed the second year. Yeah, I love chard. It's such a great crop. Oh, don't forget the book. Oh yeah, so I went on, I was live streaming last Thursday about the book. I announced it, and I should have it in the description box of this video. So you can pre-order my book. It is called 4-Season Food Gardening, and release date is February 2022. Oh gosh, it might be February 8th, but you can pre-order it right now if you like, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And the link should be in there. I'll also put it in the comments. Brahim Monroe, I live in Zone 9A, and gold purslane does surprisingly well in the sun with moderate shade. Yes, oh, purslane does well in the shade, especially if you live in a colder climate, or no, warmer climate. All right, guys. Let's see here. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more questions, but I've been on for almost an hour, so I gotta head back. Gotta figure out dinner. It was so good to see you all again. Is that GTF for life? It's not popping up on my computer here, but I saw it on the phone. So hi there. I'm about to log off, but I'll see you all next. Oh, you're on top of things. So Indiana Backyard Gardener. Okay, the release date for the book is February 8th, 2022. Thank you so much. I will see you all next Friday. You guys enjoy your weekend. Plant something. Thank you, is it Maurice, Life Canada? Thank you. You as well, everyone. I'll see you next Friday. Thank you, Tom. You too. So, Tom, I think you're in the Pacific Northwest. Enjoy this cool weather. Much nicer than the heat wave that we had. In J&J Homestead Cottage. Thank you. You as well. Let's see. Is it Maurice? Did I say that right? Thank you. All right, everyone. I'll catch up with you next week and let me know what you are going to be planting within the next week coming up. All right, I'm gonna log off. Have a good night, everyone. You too, GTF for life. Oh gosh, oops, it disappeared. I think they said something about, oh, Scotland. Oh, wow. Thanks for tuning in. So since you're in Scotland, you can also order my book. It's available to order worldwide. There's a link in there with free shipping. So I hope you guys check it out. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Happy gardening.